Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought even I'm not audible.
Okay, ma'am. Shall we continue?
You please start.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I, Shiraz Hussain, on behalf of the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, welcome Chief Guest on the occasion, Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal, Vishisht Seva Medal, and former Executive Director of the National Institute of Disaster Management, Dr. Upinder Dhar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, SVV, Dr. Santosh Dhar, Chairperson, Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, Dr. Namrata Jain, Member Secretary, Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, Head of Institutes and Departments of University, participants, all members of the Center, and my dear students. A warm welcome to this webinar on the theme Challenges of Accomplishing Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, organized on the occasion of International Day of Forests. Lighting a lamp symbolizes the removal of darkness and ignorance and the welcoming of light, knowledge, and wisdom. With these words, let us begin the event with the virtual lamp lighting ceremony and invoking the blessings of Goddess Saraswati. I would now like to request Dr. Upinder Dhar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, and Dr. Santosh Dhar, Chairperson, Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, to welcome our Chief Guest, Major Manoj Kumar Bindal, virtually. The Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development is committed to promote sustainable development practices in society. It is a collaborative platform for researchers, policymakers, and practitioners to come together and exchange ideas, knowledge, and best practices. Before we proceed with the webinar, I would like to invite our mentor, Dr. Santosh Dhar, Chairperson, Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, SVV, to share about the center and its activities conducted. Madam, please.
The chief guest on the occasion and the resource person for today's event, Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal, Vishisht Seva Medal and former Executive Director, National Institute of Disaster Management, coordinator of the event, Dr. Namrata Jain, members of Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, HOIs and HODs of the Constituent Institutes of the University, other dignitaries and students, a warm welcome to the webinar on Challenges for Accomplishing Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, organized by Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development on the occasion of International Day of Forests. Today, we live in unprecedented times of many challenges: poverty, hunger, rising inequalities, disparities of opportunities, wealth, power, gender inequality, health threats, depletion of resources, deterioration of the environment, and among these, the greatest challenge being the climate change. The challenging scenario calls for collective efforts in the pursuit of sustainable development. In order to meet this objective and to bring to the change we want to see in the world in the context of people, planet, and prosperity, Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya established the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development on July 23, 2022. On this occasion, let me share the activities that the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development organizes from time to time to generate awareness amongst the youth and sensitize them towards their responsibility towards the environment. The first initiative taken by the center was the proper channelization of electronic waste, of e-waste generated by the university. Mismanagement of e-waste is a threat to humanity and the environment. In order to take initiative for proper disposal of e-waste, CST has disposed of 2.2 tons of electronic waste to the university with a registered company of electronic waste. The center also initiated an awareness drive, Say No to Plastics, and ensures that single-use plastics are not used during the events hosted by the university. Special emphasis is laid on minimum waste generation. An awareness campaign on #BagYourReusable was coordinated by the center in collaboration with Indore Municipal Corporation to raise mass awareness about the hazards of plastics and to encourage people to carry and use possible eco-friendly alternatives such as steel glasses, spoons, and bottles. The center celebrated Swachhta Pakhwada as per the guidelines of the University Grants Commission. During this celebration, a number of environments, policymakers, and other stakeholders became part of the event. Mr. R.K. Gupta, Regional Head, Madhya Pradesh Pollution Control Board, Dr. D.K. Waghela, Senior Scientist and Regional Laboratory Head, Madhya Pradesh Pollution Control Board, and late Dr. Gunwant Joshi, former scientist, Madhya Pradesh Pollution Control Board, visited the campus and enlightened students on the various aspects of the environment. This was the longest celebration spread over 70 days, wherein a number of Swachhta and environmental-related activities were undertaken, such as campus and hostel cleanliness drive, plantation of saplings, awareness raising about the solar power grid, poster making competition on the themes of environment conservation, weeding out old and unimportant papers, speech competition on water conservation, slogan competition on forest conservation, and best out of the waste competition. Students of the university performed Nukkad Natak for school-going students in the nearby villages with an objective to raise awareness among young ones to minimize the use of single plastic and explaining them the significance of maintaining cleanliness and hygiene. Center also organized special talk shows on air pollution, its impact and control strategies. Billions of people still lack safe water and adequate sanitation facilities. In order to raise awareness about the need of ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all, a webinar on Sustainable Development Goal 6, Clean Water and Sanitation, was conducted by the center. The resource persons for the webinar were Professor Rajendra Kumar V. Saraf and Mr. Jitendra Vyas. Center celebrates World Environment Day as per the prescribed themes each year. In one such event, Dr. Rakesh Kumar, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, New Delhi, addressed the gathering on ecosystem restoration for good health and well-being. Center organized awareness-raising webinars in the area of biomedical waste management. The resource person for the session was Syed Asad Ali Warsi. The center also celebrated Earth Day by organizing debate and poster-making competitions. Padma Shri Janak Palta McGilligan visited the center and delivered talk emphasizing the use of solar energy for sustainable development. Two of our students, Khushi Prajapat and Ayushi Jain, participated and won in national level competitions organized by IIAM YZ, the business school Vishakhapatnam, on the occasion of International Ozone Day in the month of September 2021. The center organizes memorial oration by Padma awardees in fond memory of great environmental warrior Shri Sundarlal Bahuguna. The speaker for the first oration was Padma Bhushan Dr. Anil Prakash Joshi, followed by Padma Shri Sham Sundar Paliwal. On one of the events, Padma Shri Mahesh Sharma, founder Shiv Ganga Samagrama Gram Vikas Sanstha Jhabua, highlighted the need of conserving water for sustainable development. With the cooperation of Major General Binder, the center organized a 3-day online training program in collaboration with the National Institute of Disaster Management, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, New Delhi, last year. During the program, Dr. Anil Gupta, head ECDRM division, and other dignitaries of national repute delivered useful sessions which were attended by more than 600 participants across the country. Center, in collaboration with Isha Foundation, raised awareness among youth regarding the need for soil conservation. A bridge making competition was also organized, emphasizing the aesthetic and sustainability aspect of bridges, wherein students used popsicle sticks to build the bridges. Agriculture plays an important role in addressing the needs of the growing population. In order to raise awareness, a session on the importance of native seeds and sustainable agriculture was delivered by Dr. Vandana Shiva. Amongst these programs, the center is also glad to share that in collaboration with Rotary Club, the center planted 100 saplings in the district of Jhabua. Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, along with Chairperson of the center, visited the tribal area near Jhabua and participated in the plantation drive. Center celebrated its 4th Foundation Day last year, wherein Mr. Anjali Prasad, a seasoned textile expert, deliberated on sustainable textile processing in SDG 15, Life on Land. Today, on the occasion of celebrating the International Day of Forests, we are glad to have with us Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal, Vishish Seva Medal and former Executive Director, National Institute of Disaster Management, to educate all of us regarding the importance of forests and how to conserve the environment. Thank you so much. Over to Shiraz Hussain.
Thank you, madam. Your kind guidance is helping the center to grow. We also have a short video showcasing the work of the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development. The video highlights the center's initiative in sustainable practices, capacity building programs, and awareness drives to promote sustainable practices. I request the technical team to please play the video. We have with us Honorable Vice Chancellor, Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishyavidhyalaya, Dr. Upinder Dhar, who is a distinguished academician, visionary leader, and a champion of sustainable development practices. We look forward to his inspiring words on the importance of sustainable development and the role of education in achieving the SDGs. Sir, please.
Good afternoon to all of you,
Good afternoon.
chief guest and distinguished speaker on this occasion, Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal, former Executive Director, National Institute of Disaster Management, all directors of the Constituent Institutes, deans, faculty colleagues, and friends. As you know that today, that is 21st of March, we are celebrating the International Day of Forests. The International Day of Forests was established on the 21st day. It was decided to celebrate it on 21st day of March every year by a resolution of the United Nations General Assembly on November 28, 2013. Each year, various events are celebrated to raise awareness about the importance of all types of forests and trees outside the forests for the benefit of current and future generations. Countries are encouraged to undertake efforts to organize local, national, and international activities involving forests and trees, such as tree planting campaigns on International Day of Forests. The Secretariat of the United Nations Forum on Forests, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, facilitates the implementation of such events in collaboration with various governments, the Collaborative Partnership on Forests, and international, regional, and sub-regional organizations. International Day of Forests was observed for the first time on March 21, 2013. You see, before that also, efforts were made. If we go back to, say, November 1971, the state members at the 16th session of the Conference of the Food and Agriculture Organization voted to establish World Forestry Day on March 21 of each year. So from 2007 to 2012, the International Day came into existence from 2013. But before that, from 2007 to 2012, the Center for International Forestry Research convened a series of 6 forest days in conjunction with annual meetings of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Conference of Parties. Say, for instance, this Forest Day, first time, it was organized at Bali, Indonesia. That is in 2007. That was first ever that this Forest Day was organized. That time it was not International Forest Day. So it was simply, it was organized simply as Forest Day, World Forest Day. So first time Indonesia, 2007. Then second Forest Day was organized in Poland, Poznan, Poland, in 2008. Third Forest Day was held in Copenhagen, Denmark, that is 2009. Fourth, in Concan, Mexico, that was in 2010. Then next one was organized in, that was the 5th Forest Day. It was organized in Durban, South Africa. That was in 2011. And the last one, that was the 6th Forest Day, that was in Doha, Qatar, 2012. And from 2013 onwards, it was renamed as International Forest Day. So every year, this day is celebrated to remind everybody about the importance of forests. Today, forests cover more than 30% of the world's land and contain more than 6,000 tree species. Many as of yet unidentified. There are many which are yet to be identified. Forests provide food, fiber, water, and medicines for approximately 1.6 billion of the world's poorest people, including indigenous people with unique cultures. So when Sustainable Development Goals were set up in 2015 with an aim to fulfill those goals by 2030, that time also, there was great reference to the forest. The climate change is a big concern today. Therefore, all of us together need to show concern by caring for the forests, for the trees, for the vegetation, for the environment. So all of us are here today to listen to the expert, Major General Manoj K. Bindal, on this occasion, and I'm sure that all of us will be greatly benefited in terms of increasing our awareness about this issue. So once again, I welcome Major General Bindal to this forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's a matter of proud privilege to have with us Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal as the esteemed chief guest. It's an honor for me to introduce Major General to the audience. Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal, VSM, has been former Executive Director, National Institute of Disaster Management, NIDM, up to January 2022, with a leadership experience in communicating complex crisis management strategies and procedures to professional and non-professional audiences, skilled in identifying hazards and designing activities, operations to ensure timely project completion, and dynamic in making quick decisions as disasters change and develop rapidly. Proficient in conducting and steering national and international seminars and joint working groups. He was commissioned into the Corps of Army Air Defense in December 1985, an alumnus of the National Defense Academy. Major General M.K. Bindal is a graduate of the Defense Services Staff College and has attended the prestigious Higher Command course at the Army War College, besides excelling in all the other career courses in the Army. He holds a master's degree in Defense and Strategic Studies, as well as Masters of Philosophy in Defense and Management Studies. As Director, Center for the United Nations Peacekeeping, CUNPK, was responsible for training and administration of United Nations peacekeeping contingents, including foreign officers in India and abroad. As Secretary, International Association of Peacekeeping Training Activities, interacted with all the peacekeeping training centers of the world, coordinated joint training, and conducted seminars in different countries. As an UN peacekeeper in Mozambique, contributed decisively towards successful achievement of the mission's goals by assisting the force commander in enforcing command and control, conducting detention and security operations, and ensuring the uninterrupted freedom of movement along the lines of communication. He has authored a number of books and research papers on subjects related to disaster management, climate change, and environment. He is an advisor to Gyan Disha Foundation, a not-for-profit organization with a vision to create a culture of excellence and quality benchmarks in educational and institutions. Without further ado, I now invite Honorable Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal sir to deliver his address. Sir, please.
Thank you, Mr. Shiraz, for reading out the CV, even though I sent a short one also, but you read out the long one. But nevertheless, I'm so thankful to you. First of all, I thank Sri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya Indore for inviting me for this important topic. Dr. Namrata Jain in particular, who has been coordinating with me earlier also when I was in NIDM, and that program was done when she was coordinating with me, and now also. I also thank Dr. Santosh Dhar, who gave out the activities of the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development. And I must say it is an impressive lineup of activities being carried out. And such things, if captured properly in the system, will pave a long way in completing our sustainable development goals in the future. I pay my respects to Dr. Upinder Dhar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, who took out time to attend to this particular webinar and has added importance for the students and others who are joining this webinar, that this is a very important topic which needs to be spoken about, which needs to be actioned upon, and which needs to be implemented in letter and spirit. So I thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor for gracing the occasion and speaking such good words and such wisdom from him. Now coming down to the topic, I'll speak in two parts. First, I'll speak very little about the forest today, because the Honorable Vice Chancellor has already spoken a lot, and he has given out the concept of the International Day of Forest and how it came into being. I will add a little bit of facts and figures to show where we are today as India, in the world in particular, and India in particular, world in general. And then I will talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, in which I will first talk about what they are, how they are structured. And then I will talk about the challenges that we are facing and experts have faced over the period of time, and a few recommendations at the end of it. So to start with, we are aware that the forests cover 1/3 of the land surface on Earth and provide various environmental benefits, including their primary role in maintaining the balance of the hydrological cycle, which contributes to climate regulation and also preserving the biodiversity. Forest sustainable management and resource use are very critical to preventing climate change and contributing to present and future generations' prosperity. The same thing was also spoken out by the Honorable Vice Chancellor. And forests are very important for poverty alleviation. The FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, has estimated that 10 million hectares are cleared each year globally. And closer home, India itself lost about 132 hectares of natural forest in 2020 alone. That is as per the Global Forest Watch. And surprising to say, the forests are supposed to sequester carbon. But according to one study, Amazon forests have started emitting carbon dioxide instead of absorbing it because of deforestation. In India, we have about 3 lakh square kilometers of forest in the open category, which has increased. It is the only country in which the forest cover is increasing. But the point of concern is that the decrease that we are having is in areas which are in the northeast, and that is causing degradation of natural forest. That is a matter of concern. We have many initiatives which have been started by India, which is contributing to this increase, which is like National Mission for Green India, National Afforestation Program, NAP, Compensatory for Afforestation Fund Management and Planning Authority, CAMPA funds that we're talking about, National Action Program to combat desertification, and Forest Fire and Prevention and Management Schemes, which is the centrally funded scheme. So connecting that to the International Day of Forest is to say that the theme for this year is forest and health. And it has been chosen by the Collaborative Partnership on Forests set up by the UN Assembly. So when we drink a glass of water, or we write in a notebook, or we take a medicine for a fever, or build a house, we do not always make a connection with the forest. But these things and many other aspects in our life are linked to forest in one way or other. And hence, it is very important that a sustainable forest management and the use of its resources needs to be planned, because that is the key to combating the climate change. And they also are a big part in the Sustainable Development Goals, because the point which was brought out by the Honorable Vice Chancellor about the SDG relating to climate change is directly linked to forest is very apt. However, today it is being endangered because of fires, forest fires that we are hearing about, pests, droughts, and unprecedented deforestation. And hence, the theme for 2023, forest and health, needs to be understood, and action has to be taken at every level to increase that forestation and to decrease the deforestation. And it's up to us, every one of us, to safeguard such precious natural resources. This theme calls for giving and not just taking, because healthy forest will bring healthy people. So since this is a part of Sustainable Development Goal, and today the webinar also links International Day of Forests to Sustainable Development Goals, I will now talk about Sustainable Development Goals by giving a brief introduction. I'll not list out the Sustainable Development Goals because it was shown in the video also. So this is Sustainable Development Goals, or global goals, are a collection of 17 interlinked objectives designed to serve as a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet now and into the future. Some also call it as do's and don'ts list for the world for a bright future. They emphasize the interconnected environmental, social, and economic aspects of sustainable development by putting sustainability at the center of the development. It was formulated in 2015, and it is adopted in the UN General Assembly as a resolution, calling it to a 2030 agenda, or colloquially we also call it Agenda 2030. And they were made actionable by identifying specific targets for each goal, and also providing indicators to measure their progress. And most of the targets are to be achieved by 2030, although some of them have no end date. There are cross-cutting issues and synergies between the different goals. For example, SDG 13 on climate action, the IPCC International Panel on Climate Change sees robust synergies with SDG 3, that is health, SDG 7, that is clean energy, SDG 11 relating to cities and communities, SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, and SDG 14, which talks about oceans. So on one side, such linkages have been made, and on other side, critics and observers have also observed that there are trade-offs between the goals, such as between ending hunger and promoting environmental sustainability, like being too many goals together, which is resulting in compounding trade-offs between one goal to another and not complementing each other. And thereby, the environmental sustainability becomes a weak subject in the whole cross-cutting issues. The SDGs are monitored by the UN High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development, called HLPF, and which is an annual forum which is held under the auspices of the UN Economic and Social Council. And to facilitate monitoring of the progress of SDG, the online SDG tracker was launched in 2018. India has also got a tracker which is launched by the Niti Aayog, and also a report is always made by the Ministry of Home Affairs, for which a separate section has been created, where the nationally determined contributors are being captured from the various state departments and being collated and being put up. The COVID-19 pandemic had very serious and negative impacts on all the 17 SDGs. And it is said that this particular COVID-19 has put us back by a few years, and whether we will be able to complete the 2030 targets in time or not is questionable. And also COVID-19 has brought out the aspect of sustainable development and sustainability for the future generation at the forefront. Are they possible together? The list of targets and indicators for each of the 17 SDGs was published in 2017. Each goal has 8 to 12 targets, and each target has between 1 to 4 indicators, which is used to measure progress towards reaching the target. Generally, on an average, we can say there are 1.5 target indicators per target. So the targets are either outcome targets, that is circumstances to be attained, or means of implementation target. The numbering also you will read, let's 6.1, 6.2, because every target, every list of target has outcome targets and implementation targets. Outcome targets use labeled as target 6.1, 6.2, 6.3. So supposing there are 8 targets, 6 are outcome targets, they'll be labeled 6.1 to 6.6. And the other 2 targets are means of implementation targets. So they are labeled at 6.A and 6.B in numerals. So this is how the targets are named, and this is how they need to be understood. And these targets also have indicators which are tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And tier 3 indicators have now been either abandoned, replaced, or refined because they were not found that much usable. So having spoken about the SDGs, I'm not listing out the 17 SDGs, in which 16s are clear indicators, and the 17 SDGs is how to achieve SDGs is the goal of the SDG. So there are basically 16 goals, and 17th goal is coordination goal. So the challenges that we are facing today, that there are too many goals which we have, and hence the structure of the goal framework is very non-hierarchical. It is compartmental. It is in different verticals. So the coherence between the goals, the specificity or the measurability of the targets, or the reliance on private organizations or neoliberalism, economic development at their core is not allowing the SDGs to fructify, because it is also talking of trade-offs between the root causes of poverty and environmental degradation and social justice issues. At the other side, they're talking about economic development, sustainable development. So the 169 targets is too many, and they are sprawling, misconceived sometimes, and hence sometimes they are compared to the 8 Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, that we used to have before 2015. And many critics argue that were those 8 MDGs enough? Was there a requirement of spreading that into 17 SDGs? And that is a practical example that we are facing, which I'll come to later. So the trade-offs between the 17 SDGs is also preventing their realization. For example, how can ending hunger be reconciled with environmental sustainability, SDG target 2.3 and 15.2? How can economic growth be reconciled with environmental sustainability, target 9.2 and 9.4? How can income inequality be reconciled with economic growth, target 10.1 and 8.1? So the SDGs do not specifically address the tensions between economic growth and environmental sustainability. Instead, they emphasize on long-standing but dubious claims about decoupling and resource efficiency as technological solutions to the environmental crisis. The continued global economic growth of 3%, SDG 8, may not be reconcilable with ecological sustainability goals because the required rate of absolute global sustainability is far higher than any country has achieved in the past. So on one hand, you have economic development. On the other hand, you're looking at ecological sustainability. And there's a trade-off between the two. You go for one more, you lose the other, and you fall short in the achieving the target. The biggest factor that has been seen as a challenge to achieving the 2030 agenda is environmental sustainability. And in that, the CESD of the university being set up for this purpose is a landmark event. And I think the Center of Excellence in Sustainability Development needs to focus more on environmental sustainability, as it is already doing so, but in a much bigger way, because it is the youth which are the future who are going to carry this flag and going to implement it on grounds once they graduate from the college, whether at graduation level, post-graduation level, or at a doctorate level. There are 3 environmental focused SDGs, which are goal 13, 14, and 15, climate, land, and oceans. But there is no overarching environmental or planetary goal. So the environmental integrity as such has not been addressed, and they're underrepresented. So when the current SDGs are structured, that leads to a negative correlation between environmental sustainability and SDGs. And that is a major obstacle in achieving any of the targets. The SDGs have been criticized for the inability to protect biodiversity, whereas some of the targets can unintentionally promote environmental destruction in the name of sustainable development. So there are areas where we need to be very, very focused on. Next issue that we are facing is difficulties with tracking qualitative indicators, because reading the targets of the SDGs is very weak. Evidence linking is linking the means of implementation to outcomes is also very weak. Today, because of hierarchical structures, because of compartmentalization, and every ministry department working in a separate vertical, action by one is not complementing the action of other. Even though Niti Aayog has set up a committee and a proper department dealing with this, but somehow the need for economic development, need for moving from a developing economy to a developed economy, the need for moving from a developing country to a developed country is not allowing this correlation, cross-cutting issues being addressed to be taken care of. And hence, the synergy between the various ministries and departments, between the 16 SDGs that they complement each other, is somewhat lacking. And a lot of effort is going on at the government level today to find out how we can come out with a mechanism wherein action by one ministry should not undermine the action being taken by the other ministry. And Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of Agriculture, these two ministries in particular are very much concerned about implementing the various goals of the SDGs. And hence, very soon we will be coming out with a indicator which we are insisting it should be a transparent affair, so that anyone can at any point of time see where we are and what are the difficulties being faced. So in the end, I will say that it is very important to come out of our own compartments and think big, think at a national level, think at an international level. COVID-19 has shown us the power of the nature, and hence it is important. Also, the climate change, we have seen how it is affecting us, that now the 100 years history cannot be extrapolated to read the future. The way the climate change is happening, the way the weather patterns are changing, the way the rains are changing, we have to cater to the new climate change related aspects and build that into the SDG targets and the implementation schemes. Second is allocation of finances. 15 Finance Commission for the first time allocated a large amount of funds for the disaster management. So there is a need also that such type of allocation needs to be done purely for SDGs, and that too for the environmental sustainability. And all the states, UTs have to be tasked and it has to be made mandatory to spend that money and put up the indicators. The communities need to be involved. Today, the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development reached out to the community for tree plantation, for the Swachhata campaign. This type of initiative is required. So higher education institutions like the one in which we are having this webinar now, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya Indore, have a very big role to play in assuring that the SDGs and sustainable development go hand in hand, and environmental sustainability is also maintained. First is our own participants. So nearly 200 plus participants are there in this particular webinar, which shows the health of the institute, that people are concerned about this. So that concern has to be raised, that awareness about the concern has to be there in every student, that he must understand that he has to plant trees, he has to go green, all the nature-based solutions needs to be followed, like plastic-free zone, which was established with the CESD. So such type of initiatives, he has to carry it home. He has to carry it to his neighborhood. He has to carry it to his community. And once they graduate from here and join any organization, whichever organization in whichever capacity, they have to carry this thinking. So there is a saying that if we make the campus, which has got a culture of environmental sustainability, then the students imbibe there in their heart and minds, and it becomes a habit with them. And then once they go out, they are able to implement it, they are able to spread it, because the teachers have a very big role. And I'm thankful to the Vice Chancellor, sir, and the chairperson of the CSD, that they have thought it prudent to have this type of talks regularly, with the eminent speakers being called. And we started this journey a year back when I was in NIDM, and thereafter we could not come back again. But now Dr. Namrata Jain, on approaching me, I was really keen to do this, because this subject is very close to my heart. Because and higher education institution, 33% of our population is undergoing education of some sort of other or other. So if we can target this 33%, out of which quite a lot is in class 12th also, but through the education setup, if we can target them and make them understand the importance of sustainability, sustainable development and environmental sustainability, and how climate change impacts can be reduced, I think we would have done a big service to the mankind. So with this, I'll end my talk here now, and I'm open to any discussions which can take place. So thank you so much once again, Mr. Siraj.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring and thought-provoking address on the challenges of accomplishing sustainable development goals. Your wealth of experience and expertise in the field of sustainable development has enriched our understanding of complex issues at the intersection of social, economic, and environmental sustainability. Your talk highlighted the need for an integrated approach to sustainable development that considers the broader dimension of human well-being, equity, and environmental protection. We hope that your words will inspire all of us to take concrete step towards realizing the sustainable development goals and creating a more just, equitable, and sustainable world. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite Dr. Namrata Jain, Member Secretary, Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, to deliver the words of thanks. Dr. Namrata Jain has been actively involved in promoting sustainable development practices through research, policy advocacy, and community engagement. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Shiraz sir. Respected Chief Guest on the occasion, Honorable Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal, Vishisht Seva Medal, and former Executive Director, National Institute of Disaster Management, Dr. Rupinder Dhar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya Indore, Dr. Santosh Dhar, respected Chairperson, the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, respected Directors, HOIs, HODs of constituent institutions of SBBB, participants, dear colleagues, and my dear students. Freedom is not free, and it's the man and woman in uniform that pay the price for us all. Honorable Major General M.K. Bindal sir, we feel honored to have you as the chief guest on the occasion. I, on behalf of the SBBB fraternity, thank you for gracing the webinar with your benign presence. We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts. We assure you to use your suggestions in our next campaign. No words of gratitude can suffice for the kind guidance and time Center received from Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Upinder Dhar and respected Chairperson of the Center, Dr. Santosh Dhar. It's only because of their mentorship, the Center, merely in a span of 3.5 years, able to conduct many activities. My special thanks are due for respected directors, HOIs and HODs, faculty, staff members for extending their cooperation to the Center. A very big thank you to CSD team. Your cooperation and coordination is helping the Center to execute different events. Thanks to Mr. Satish Patel, Shri Vaishnav Institute of Journalism and Mass Communication for video editing. Lots of thanks to the participants, my students, the environmental warriors for attending the webinar and making it a grand success. Thanks to one and all.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
I request everyone now to please keep their cameras on for a group photograph. Thank you all. Participants are requested to fill the feedback form to get e-certificate of participation.
Thank you, sir. Thank
now
you.
I request everyone. Yes, sir. Now
no,
I request
I
everyone.
wanted to thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and the Chairperson, ma'am, for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I request everyone to rise for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to your gracious presence in future events also. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Bindal sir. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.